Hi, I'm Bob Ballard. Welcome to Into the Cellar, the show with you in mind. I'm here today with our guest, Jeanne Fradella. The story of Jeannie and I, how we got started and how we met was through wine study. We took a wine study course at the Culinary in Canandaigua, New York. And we also met a third person, Rick Cusker. Rick, you're in a future episode, so you'll meet Rick here in a future episode. The three of us really worked together and studied for our certified SOM in 2014. So that's how we got to know each other, and then, you know, she's become a good friend and a cohort, and
Bob graciously gives us lots of blind tasting experience.
No, that's right. We are in a blind tasting group together, and it's something that you'll see on my blog that I'm going to talk about, forming a tasting group. Very important. It's fun. We passed our certified SOM together in 2014, and Jeanne, you've gone on to do some other certifications. Tell us about those.
So before I met Bob, I had the WSET 2 and 3. Then I started in the Intro SOM, met Rick and Bob. We took our certified SOM together. And then from the Society of Wine Educators, they offer certifications as well. I'm the Certified Specialist of Wine, and then the second level of that is called Certified Wine Educator. 6-part exam, very rigorous. There's less than 500 people in the world that actually hold that certification.
Yeah, and she knows her stuff. Jeannie's got a blog or a Facebook page.
Jeanne,
want to tell us about that?
It's Jeannie in a Bottle, Jeanne and a Bottle. It has musings and pictures and fun stuff. It tells about what I'm doing, what I'm tasting. I highlight some of the local Finger Lakes wines as well. It's also on Instagram as Jeannie in a Bottle, and I'm betting that the links will be below on the page.
Yeah, so definitely check it out. We'll have everything linked for you so that you can see how to get in touch with Jeannie. Before we go into the cellar, I just want to do one little tidbit on the region that we're coming from. Again, it's the Finger Lakes region, and one of the things that I find that's great, and that's why I have Jeannie as my first episode, is the women of the Finger Lakes. There is a strong contingency of great wine women in this area. I think it's unique to the wine world that I'm familiar with. You've got Lorraine Helms, who's on the board of the Society of Wine Educators. You have Donna Schlosser-Long, who is the National President of Women for Wine Sense, and then so many other women that are really well versed in wine and are very into the whole wine scene here in the Finger Lakes and promoting wine and promoting the Finger Lakes. You've got Jeannie, who's a certified wine educator. You've got Maureen Baer. You've got Ann Lambert. You've got Holly Howell. Elle Andrews, who's runs Flight. Downtown Cornhill.
We got Carrie Morabito, who owned a shop that I started with, and she is the local president of Women for Wine Sense. We have a terrific contingent of female winemakers in the Finger Lakes. We come from a region that is collegial both in its winemaking and its wine study. We're very fortunate to have places to study around here. We have a local college, RIT, which does wine and food and tourism as a major, and we also have New York Kitchen, which is a nonprofit in Canandaigua that offers wine classes, wine study, and just classes for wine fun. So we have been really surrounded in the region by supportive people, and in particularly supportive women.
Very proud of that fact. Very proud to have the great women that we do here in the region. Okay, so enough of us talking. Let's get into the cellar. Okay, here we are with Jeannie. Into the cellar. Jeannie, what do you have for us today?
You have known me long enough to know I'm a Cab Francaholic. One of the premier regions to get Cab Franc from is the Loire Valley, and one of my favorite producers is Augerifalt. I feel like this is a little bit of a time capsule. This is a 2001. These wines are capable of aging for decades, and this is one of my favorite producers. So, shall we go?
Yeah, fantastic wine. And, you know, the other thing, too, it's interesting about Cab Franc is not a lot of people are familiar with Cab Franc.
It is the parent of many grapes, and one of the most important crossings of Cab Franc is with Sauvignon Blanc, and it yielded Cabernet Sauvignon. So this is kind of like the daddy grape. The one thing we have to be careful with Cab Franc and some of the other Bordeaux varietals is they get a hefty dose of a chemical called pyrazine. And pyrazine comes across as green bell pepper, and it can be very underripe, and a lot of people may find the underripe version of it not to their liking. But definitely as it gets more ripe, gets a red bell pepper note, and get a lot of raspberry. This is a later form of Cab Franc than you would see maybe in California, but really similar to what we find here in the Finger Lakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Very floral as well. I always get purple flowers.
Nose on this.
Plenty of raspberry.
The other thing too I like about Ogrefaux is the price point on their standard Cab Francs are not super out of the price range of your normal.
And they'll regularly release wines from their cellar, which is where this one came from.
Yeah. Nice wine. Very, very
nice wine. People think they hear the word Cabernet and they automatically assume it's going to be this big, heavy wine. This does not fall into that department. It actually has a lot of acidity on it, which makes it food friendly, and a little bit lighter body for those that maybe like a Beaujolais or Pinot Noir. This is not going to be heavy, and a lot of savory earth elements in this going on right now.
So I immediately think, as far as when I think of food pairings with this, is like maybe seasonal vegetables or something like that. What do you think? I mean, you could go burger, you could go...
You go pork.
Pork's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, I always feel like pork is a really fun thing to pair, medium-bodied. This also would carry something a little bit funkier, maybe some lamb.
Sure.
It's got that funky herbal note, and you can really pull that out when you have whatever way you're going to make it when you rub the lamb.
So tell me a little bit about your cellar, and as I always want to tell people, you don't have to have the fanciest cellar in the world, and this is more about the journey through wine, the collection of wine, some of the stuff that you've had in your cellar. I mean, just tell me a little bit about your gathering of wine.
The sole reason we bought this house was for the bar. That we bought it, we redid most of the house. It started out as the man cave, which you can see sports memorabilia around here.
Sure.
The only thing
your certification.
Yeah, and my certification wall. And I got a Coke machine because before I drank wine, I drank a lot of Diet Coke. And then I sort of studied wine. I wanted to learn how to read a European wine label, and I wanted to know how to have a good wine and what made a good wine without spending a lot of money. This house is got electric heat, which allows us to temperature control each room. Most people would see that as a disadvantage. It's an advantage for me. Mm-hmm. And we have a humidifier and a dehumidifier to keep the humidity just where we want it.
Yeah, perfect.
It's really perfect down here. So I really started collecting wines just by going to the Finger Lakes. Getting a lot of wine from there, joining the McGregor Wine Club.
I see some ravines.
Yeah, ravines. And then I started branching out. I knew I liked Cab Franc. I've collected Cab Franc from around the world. But the thing about wine is you can evolve. Yeah, you don't have to stay stuck with one thing.
Yep, right.
You can continue to enjoy and grow. And one of the things as a wine educator you tell people is drink what you like and learn what you don't like. That's just as important. Mm-hmm. And be prepared that your palate will change. The more you drink, the more it changes. And certainly introduce food into the mix, because you're going to find wines that you never thought you'd like, and then you have them with the right food and they're amazing.
Right, and one of the things that I love about Jeannie and some of the ladies that I mentioned earlier in the intro is... And a lot of the people of the Finger Lakes and one of the things that I love about the region so much is that the people are so down to earth. They're not snobby, and this, that's what this whole journey of wine is about. And this show and the people that you'll see, it's just it's important to me that that's what we. It's
collegial. I don't think I'd ever made this journey without you and Rick and Lorraine and Maureen. And, if you're in it together, I guess my background as an educator is, you support one another. That's really important. And we sort of think of, we may or may not have spouses that are as into this as us. So I always laugh, it's my wine family. And, you'll find this really cool bottle and you're like, I wouldn't open it with anyone else. It's like, I wouldn't open this bottle with anyone other than wine people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's just, it's perfect. And that's what we do. I think we help each other, we push each other. Even blind tasting together helps us all grow. And it just, I can't imagine. Wine is about family and friends. And I can't imagine studying it in isolation. I can't imagine drinking it in isolation. One of the things when I worked at Two Foodies was I used to be asked to write a Sunday blog. And, one of the first ones I wrote was, this is about family and friends and food and enjoyment. It should be a vehicle to enhance the food and share this wonderful product that they make together with people who think that's cool.
Okay, Jeannie, are you ready for the wine rapid fire? This is how we wrap up the show.
Okay.
And Jeannie, here we go. The first question is, and I will give you an example, your favorite wine term. My favorite wine term, batonnage. What is your favorite wine term?
Oenology.
Oenology.
Anything with the O-N-E-O, it means wine.
Yeah.
So
it's a study of wine, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I like, but it's like the best root, you have.
Yeah.
Oenologist, I love that word.
Favorite region or winery to drink from?
Favorite winery region to drink from?
Could be a region, could be a winery.
I was pretty happy in Sicily. I recently went there. There was a winery in the middle of the country called Regaliali, and it was literally driving up a mountainous, mud, snow-covered road for an hour to get there. We were next to wind turbines.
Wow, what an adventure.
And we got there, and they invited us in, and they had a warm fire, and they made us a 5-course meal, and
geez.
it was that has to be one of the best.
Well, and that kind of answers favorite region visited would be...
I also like Tuscany.
Okay,
that was great just because of the history of
Italy
wine
girl.
there.
Italy
Yeah, I am. I just went there. But the cool part about Tuscany is I ate lunch in Montalcino. And it's just a regular little Italian town. And you're like, wait, you have wine named for you. And they're just, it's history.
I would love to visit it. Region you would most like to visit that you have not?
I think probably New Zealand. Just because it's on the other side of the country. It's got that otherworldly look about it. I think it's up and coming.
Okay, to wrap up the last of the questions, what do you want your wine world legacy to be?
I think that as an educator in wine, I want people to realize that there's nothing snobby about it. There's nothing, that you as a regular person can't understand about wine. Your palate is your palate, and what you love is what you love. It's unique to you and unique to your DNA. And I hate when people feel that there's some wine professional that holds the cards and that they know everything they're supposed to know about wine.
Great point.
And it's your palate. You know what you need to know about wine. It's our job to introduce you and educate you.
Yep. Okay, so that's a wrap.
Thank
Jeannie,
you.
Thanks so much. I appreciate you doing this.
Wouldn't have made it without you.
I love it. Love it. Absolutely love it.